Yesterday I posted a YouTube video going over blood markers in the context of fat loss and kind of which ones can affect what, make it a little more difficult, that sort of thing. So feel free to go and check that video out. But today I figured I'd go over some of that, but kind of some of the misconceptions, and hopefully this will help your overall understanding of blood work and how we should view it in the fitness industry and in a fat loss context. As the last video was more just which markers to look out for, which markers to get checked frequently, monitor frequently. If you get 10 blood tests and you have the same test on each blood panel, then you can see 10 different versions and 10 different snapshots in time. You can make different charts, see if your kidney health is declining, if your kidney health is getting better or whatnot. So that's kind of what I went in depth in on that video. But here, I think we'll talk about, a lot of guys get blood work for all sorts of reasons. You're natural, you're enhanced, you're a power lifter, you're sick, you want to have kids, there's a million different reasons why somebody would purchase a blood panel and then go and draw blood, other than the once a year through your doctors, depending on what country you live in. But for the most part, if you make that decision on your own, there's definitely a reason as to why. Some people in the enhanced industry just kind of get it 3 months, every 4 months, every 6 months, and periodically they'll just get blood work, without, not without a need, but without really monitoring it or looking at it. And it's like it's a snapshot in time. So even though your blood work, everything's in range, you want to look at the trends if you're getting it that often, and maybe switch up some of the test markers that you're getting tested. That way you're just not testing the same exact thing frequently. And you are just testing what's in blood serum, so you're not testing what's actually in the cell. Some of the enzymes they test, like the liver, will test spillover of the enzyme that it produces when it's under stress. So the more spillover of that enzyme, the more stress the liver's under. You can't really tell exactly what's going on with the liver unless you get a biopsy or ultrasound it, or there's a few other ways. But still, it's a snapshot in time, so I think we should be switching up some of those markers, especially if nothing's changing. You're probably not a genetic phenom. Your body's probably just good at clearing the bloodstream and making sure everything's in balance in the bloodstream, but that doesn't tell you what's intracellular. The whole IGF-1 argument too, guys take their growth hormone and then go get their IGF-1 tested, and they kind of found out that eating the IGF-1 in blood serum's an indicator, but it's not everything. You would want to know what IGF-1 level you have intracellular. So there's also something to be said about your body processing IGF-1 really fast and pumping it intracellular, so you absorb more IGF-1 from your bloodstream than the next guy. So the next guy might read higher, and it might look like his growth hormone is doing better and is better quality and is higher percentage and whatnot because he has a higher IGF-1. But realistically, it could be the absolute opposite. My IGF-1 level's lower, so my body's pushing more of it into muscle cell, into all kinds of different cells to grow what we're looking to get out of it. And that's just one example. So definitely getting different markers tested, and blood work's not everything. If you are in that enhanced zone, kind of down that path, even if you're a natural competitor and you really hit the weights 12 months out of the year, not a lot of rest time, the heart's under a lot of stress. It was proven that it is the most stressful, training with any sort of supplements, and especially gear, is the most oxidative, stressful thing you can do to the human body. So even in a natural context, it's not good to push yourself to that level and grow your body beyond its natural limit. So in that context, blood work is not everything at all. You should be getting organ scans every 4 or 5 years. You should be doing an ultrasound of your liver here and there. Kidneys, not a bad idea. Heart, not a bad idea. And blood pressure definitely doesn't tell everything either. You definitely want a full picture. We have the tools at our disposal today. You can go in and pay out of pocket for an EKG or a heart scan or an ultrasound. Might not be easy in the US, but you can do it if you push hard enough and make up a reason if you have to. But between daily testing your vitals, A1C tests, you can at-home A1C tests, glucose monitoring, blood pressure monitoring, blood work every 3 to 4 months, those scans, you can almost monitor the full picture. You're doing your cardio, you're doing your day-to-day exercises. That is probably the closest you'll get to predicting a negative health outcome and or increasing your current health outcome right now. Everybody could drop dead at any minute. There's freak accidents that happen. I'm pretty sure it's studied that it's like there's nothing preventing the fact that anybody could have an aneurysm at any moment for any reason of any age. And so a lot of that's, once you realize that's like, okay, I can only control so much in life, and I shouldn't really be a hypochondriac and worry about everything and anything, because I don't know, you could be like, oh, my finger's falling off, and then actually die of a heart attack right then and there. And that's a very shitty way to look at things, but you could also die. There's also studies about the poor guy that died from a vending machine falling out of the sky. So there's a chance you die from a diet soda machine falling out of the sky, rather than getting cancer from your diet soda you're worried about. Or not to say don't get any of that tested and don't be worried about your health, but be worried in a proactive manner. Know that, cars are going to break down no matter how much you bring it to your mechanic or what kind of repairs or how often you're repairing your car. Each and every car has a lifespan, especially if you're driving it every single day. You can change your battery, you can change your spark plug, not spark plugs anymore, but you can change your accelerator, your engine, your transmission. You can change it all, but it's like eventually the car's just gonna have to go to the junkyard and it's not gonna work. There's gonna be too many things wrong with it. That's the human body in and of itself. You could crash your car too, and it's like that, total it, and that happens as well. Not to push into the car analogy too much, but you guys get what I'm saying. Blood work and all that is a very powerful tool, but I wouldn't freak out about it. I know I'm kind of backtracking on what I was saying earlier, but all these tools are awesome because we have them at our disposal, but not one is the full picture. They're all the full picture, and even with the full picture, you're still only doing the best you can. So definitely do the best you can. Do it all. All my guys are getting images and getting blood work on a frequent basis. Every 3 months, they're sending me their A1C tests. It's on Amazon too. You can buy that. That's the 3-month fasting glucose average, or not, your 3-month glucose average, not fasting. More of an accurate prediction of insulin sensitivity and pre-diabetes, where you're at, what path you're on, that sort of thing. So you can get those tested at home, just have an idea where you're at, especially in a growing context or a fat loss context. The lower that number, the better. But for the most part, those are kind of the big ones I wanted to go over. The crazy blood tests you'll see, I get all my blood work through Synergistic Labs. All my guys go through that as well. It's pretty easy out of pocket. You pay $150, a couple $100, and you can get a pretty extensive blood panel. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before. And then You pay the money, they send you a requisition form within 24 hours, and then you go into your nearest lab core and draw your blood the next morning after, ideally fasted in the morning. Super easy. But again, they have 4, 5, 6, I've even seen a $1,200 blood test on there. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you're really down bad, yeah, you might need that panel. But again, if your health is really that bad and you need that panel, you probably should be at a hospital and have a specialist be looking at you. Probably shouldn't be winging your own super fucking complicated blood tests. So in that aspect, it's like, okay, let's be careful with the line we're on, where it's like just checking our health versus knowing our health is completely fucked and now we are trying to fix it on our own. That can also be a slippery slope. Even myself, I only know so much. I've only experienced so much between myself and clients and people around me that I've referred a lot of people to, like, just go to urgent care. I don't know, you should probably double check your doctor, and that sort of thing. A lot of coaches in this industry too try and ego their way through it, but yeah, $150, $200 blood panel. You can get everything checked, make sure you're all in range, and then again, if anything's way out of range, double check it, test it again, make sure that's the legit number, and then if it really is still, then yeah, consult with a doctor. In my last video, I kind of honed in on how doctors don't know everything or anything, and they follow their protocols and procedures that were given to them, which is true to an extent. But again, if you have a metric or a blood marker that's way out of whack, then you might need some medical attention. None of us are surgeons, unless you are, I don't know, but still, the healthcare system is not very good at proactive and preventing disease, but in the context of disease or trauma care, yeah, we are number one in the world for a reason. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't not go to the doctor if you need it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, the blood work whole scene is definitely lit up in the last 5-10 years. I've been doing this for a little while now, so it's another money avenue, money stream. I think once you see the fitness industry for a whole, you're like, everybody's kind of found a way to position themselves in between fitness and money. And it's like, that's kind of one of those avenues or those crazy high blood tests, $15, $16, $17, $1,800 blood tests. I don't know. It's like, seems like a positioned business. It is a need for it. Absolutely, every business has to be a need of some kind. But it's like a fish story. You exaggerated a little bit as to what's needed and what's required to monitor health and maintain progress. And then next thing you know, you get people buying $11, $12, $1,300 blood tests for no reason. The $150, $200 tests, perfect. There's a lot of stuff in the fitness industry too, man. Each business is like, has a need, has a market demand, if you will, but they have really leaned into that, and rightfully so. I mean, they're in the business of making money. Fuck it, why not? But as a consumer and a fitness goer, younger me had no clue and was buying the $400 or $500 blood tests as much as I could afford, because I thought that was it. Blood work was everything, and it's not. It's a part of the full picture. So yeah, I guess that's 90% of what was on my head. This won't be really edited at all. Just kind of freeballing, ranting here. Kind of my experience. Like I said, I wasted a good amount of money on blood work. Not to say those panels aren't good to look at and have for future reference, but the $150, $200 panels was sufficed. So I could have got twice as much blood work if you look at it like that, based on the dollar amount I spent. So I mean, nobody needs to be a penny pincher in this industry. For the most part, you're getting what you pay for. But blood work's one of those things that can be a little different at times. There's some companies that will run real cheap tests, and you're like, yo, a $50 blood panel, full shebang, and then you're getting your results back within 2 hours. But the happy medium, finding a good company. Synergistic Labs, a great company. They have great labs. They send your blood to LabCorp, seamless, perfect. Never had an issue. None of my guys have ever had an issue. It always not only works out, but the results show up within a week to 2 weeks, which is reasonable when you're sending blood to a completely different lab across the country that actually knows its shit. Yeah, it's to be expected. But no, hope this helps clarify some of the worries and misconceptions around blood work that I definitely experienced, and looking back on it, it's like, it's kind of shitty. But don't be obsessed and focused and concerned about the nuances, and blood work's one of those things. Unless you're enhanced and you really have a goal and you're really in the depth of it, then this probably doesn't even apply to you. But for most of us, simple blood work and monitoring everything else will give us the full picture. Anything beyond that becomes unnecessary. I mean, hell, if you got disposable income, bro, I don't know, buy somebody's wicked expensive coaching program and do everything you can. Do Brian Johnson's $2 million a year anti-aging protocol. Whatever, I mean, teach their own. But for most of us, we're just trying to elicit the most progress and spend the least and stay the healthiest. So hope that helps. You can always reach out on Instagram, follow me on there for more. These are more off the cuff, more in depth, but less edited, more raw, real info. I feel like I can talk about a little more on here without getting banned on Instagram or shadow banned. So yeah, hope that helps. If you need any other clarity on blood work, where to go, how I go about doing it a little cheaper and a little bit easier, or just want to know more about my philosophy and approach, definitely reach out on Instagram. I answer all DMs, so don't be shy. And yeah, hope that helps. Have a good morning, night, evening, whenever you're watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.